House set to vote this week on a bill that would ban the social media app TikTok if its Chinese owners do not sell it. Podcast host and tech journalist Kara Swisher telling ABC News she expects the ban to pass.
A lot of TikTok is owned by American investors, and so they're going to want a solution where it moves into a different configuration that TikTok, that the Chinese government's going to have to accept that they don't have maybe this tool anymore, and that instead they'll make a lot of money.
Meanwhile, the app pushing back, telling users to contact lawmakers and oppose the bill. And ahead of tonight's 96th Academy Awards, much has been made about the possibility that the Barbie movie could be snubbed for major awards. On Milwaukee's Matt Miller tells Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News he thinks the blockbuster film will nab at least one award tonight.
I don't know if it'll win more than an Oscar, but it'll definitely win an Oscar for Best Original Song. Whether that's going to be for I'm Just Ken or What Was I Made For? That's kind of the question. Barbie's biggest competition in that category is Barbie.
Wisconsin's Morning News conducted a 5Q with Milwaukee native John Ridley, an Oscar winner for adapted screenplay 12 Years a Slave. You can hear that on WTMJ.com. Sports, traffic, and weather coming up next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 104.
This report is sponsored by Truestone Financial, your neighborhood credit union. Visit truestone.org today.
A good neighbor would give you a cup of sugar if you asked. At Truestone Financial, we don't have any sugar, but we do have something even sweeter. Open and use a Truestone checking account and we'll give you up to $150 cash back. It's not exactly what the recipe called for, but $150 can buy you a lot of cookies. It's true, because we're Truestone. Learn more and sign up at truestone.org. Offer subject to terms and conditions. Recipient responsible for applicable taxes. Membership required.
There's a reason people sold to Grandview Homes instead of using a real estate agent.
We needed to sell Mom's home quickly and with a company we could rely on.
No showings, no closing costs, no added stress.
Visit GrandviewHomes.com to discover the easiest and fastest way to sell a home.
You're going to get a free furnace from Quality Heating. This isn't a gimmick. You are going to get a free furnace. This is Anthony Zanevsky, and all you have to do is purchase a heat pump from Quality Heating, and you're going to get a free furnace. And this heat pump is not only going to give you two sources of heat and act as a backup, but also the heat pump will double as an AC system to cool your home as well. And it's extremely efficient. I have a heat pump in my own home, and I can promise you, this heat pump will cut your energy costs substantially. You'll be getting a top-of-the-line $14,000 to $15,000 system, but your bill is going to be less than half of that. So from February 1st through March 31st, you can get an insane deal from Quality Heating. This is the only time of the year we can do this. And it's really just in an effort to make one of the slowest times of the year for our technicians really busy. So see the man in the red van. Call Quality Heating. Get your free furnace and upgrade your home's HVAC system to absolute max efficiency. February 1st through March 31st.
Quality Heating, Quality Heating.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Wisconsin men's basketball wrapping up their regular season today. They've got a tough matchup in store, taking on the third-ranked Purdue Boilermakers. And that game right now in the second half, it's a 7-point lead for the host Boilermakers over the Badger men. Meanwhile, on the hardwood, the Bucks continuing their West Coast road trip this afternoon, taking on the Clippers. We'll have Bucks Shootaround kicking off our coverage here on WTMJ right after the news. The Brewers taking on the Rockies today in Arizona Spring Ball. You can hear the game over on 94.5 ESPN. And congratulations once again this afternoon to both Arrowhead and Pewaukee girls basketball, winners of the Division I and II state championships respectively on Saturday. Checking the roads, your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic going over the map right now. Just a couple of broken down vehicles still scattered across the system, including near County Highway E in Kenosha County heading south on 94, as well as one on the ramp from Bryan Road to 94 South. Everywhere else looking good this hour, no other incidents or delays.
Fleet Farm's got everything you need for everyday life. Brands from Carhartt to Milwaukee to Purina to Goodyear to Rapala to Levi's and a whole lot more. In-store or online, check out all the brands Fleet Farm carries to help make your everyday life better.
And your WTMJ 5-day forecast, sunny and breezy, a high of 46 this afternoon. We'll get down to 30 tonight under clear skies. Mostly sunny for your Monday, mild and breezy, a high of 61, partly cloudy 64 on Tuesday. Mainly clouds Wednesday, 53 near the lake, 61 inland. Rain returning for your Thursday with a high of 44 degrees. Right now in Madison, sunny skies and 39. Green Bay, sunny and 40. Waukesha checking in at 38 degrees. And in Milwaukee, we've got sunny skies and 41 degrees. I'm Adam Roberts, citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time 108.
It's time for Buck Shootaround on WTMJ. We get you warmed up, stretched out, and ready for tip-off. This is Buck Shootaround. Now, here's your host, Justin Garcia.
Game number 3 of a 4-game road trip in California for the Bucks. It commences momentarily here. This is a big one, given you dropped the first 2 games of this trip, and we talked about this on Bucks Talk after the game against the Lakers Friday night. You feel a lot different about that game if you didn't just lose to the Golden State Warriors by 35 points. We'll hear from Doc Rivers on the network pregame coming up about 30 minutes from now, but Doc Rivers essentially said the same thing. We heard him say that much after the loss of there were some things that I liked that we saw. I think a lot of this was the Lakers played very well. There were obviously some things we could have done differently to slow that down. I think everybody will point to the late game execution, and this was an issue for the Bucks. We've seen that happen before. Doc Rivers specifically pointed that out and said, look, we had 5 plays out of bounds down the stretch. We executed on 3 of them. But we left opportunities on the table on 2 of those, and that's something you just can't do in the playoffs. We didn't win Friday night, but you can get away with that in the regular season. It's something that you can't, and it's part of the message we have constantly heard from Doc Rivers since taking over on January 29th, and that is, look, it's all well and good to win games in the regular season. It's nice. It puts fans' minds at ease. It is a much easier sell when you look in the standings and see, hey, the Bucks are on a 6-game win streak. The Bucks have moved back up to 2nd in the Eastern Conference. But it is the long game that this team is playing here and getting this team ready for the postseason, cleaning up all of those things. And as Doc Rivers has said, even during that 6-game win streak, we're still not there. We're getting better. That is very clear. I like what we see here. I like what we're building towards. But this is by no means a finished product. And I think that showed up once again in the way that the Bucks closed out that game against the Lakers. I do think it was a perfect mixture of the Lakers playing very, very good down the stretch and the Bucks with some areas to improve. So we'll hear some more thoughts on that from Doc Rivers coming up on the network pregame show. But again, you don't want to call anything a must-win, and I've seen that tossed around quite a bit. I understand the frustration, and I understand what's going to bring you to that and saying, look, the Bucks just won 6 games in a row. They had a 4-game road trip that you personally, you being me, told us these are pretty good matchups for the Bucks. And yet they dropped the first 2 games. It's still not a must-win game. Now, you don't want a 1-3 road trip. You don't want to bookend, essentially, that 6-game win streak with Doc Rivers starting things on a 5-game road trip and going 1-4, and this is by no means the end of things, but going 1-3 on a road trip. But what is most important for the Bucks is the process. You get the process right, the results will be there, and more importantly, most importantly, the results will be there in the postseason. Now, we mentioned one of the big benefits of that 6-game win streak was it coincided with struggles, maybe short-term, potentially long-term, but nonetheless, it coincided with struggles from those teams right around and beneath you in the standings. So what that did is it bought you a lot of time. Now, the Cleveland Cavaliers put together an impressive week. They played 3 games without Donovan Mitchell. They played 2 games without Evan Mobley. And they beat the Boston Celtics, the Eastern Conference leading Boston Celtics. And then 3 nights later, they beat the then Western Conference leading Minnesota Timberwolves. I think a lot of Bucks fans circled that week for the Cavaliers and said, man, this is an opportunity for the Bucks. Look at the schedule that the Cavs have. We learned the news early in the week that Donovan Mitchell would be out at least 3 games after receiving a PRP injection. This is a big opportunity for the Bucks. Maybe they can move past the Cavaliers in that loss column, and unfortunately they were not able to do that because of an impressive week by the Cavs and those struggles on the road from the Bucks. But the more important piece of this is this, and I'm going to continue to stand on this hill. It does not matter if the Bucks are second or third. It matters if you are second or third. It does not matter where you are in terms of second or third. What matters is staying on that line, not dropping down to fourth or fifth, because, look, I'm not going to say you get the Boston Celtics in the second round, because as we learned last year, you have to get out of the first round of the playoffs. And that is going to become an increasingly more difficult task for every single team. The Eastern Conference is still very top-heavy, but long gone are the days where the 7 and 8 seeds before the play-in tournament, where the 7 and 8 seeds were guaranteed sweeps or gentlemen's sweeps. Even the 6 seed, you thought, well, maybe we can get a series out of this. It was really just the 4-5 that you looked at and said, well, if we're going to get an entertaining series, this is going to be it. Those days are long gone. And again, if the season were to end today, Bucks would be the 3 seed. They'd get the Miami Heat in the first round. You would have the Knicks and the Magic playing in the first round. The Cavs and the Celtics would await teams in the play-in tournament, and right now those teams, the 76ers and the Indiana Pacers, that is 7-8. So in other words, Cleveland would get one of those 2 teams. This is very much be careful what you wish for if you are one of those that say Bucks need to get the 2 seed. And I understand the Miami Heat are currently third, and they're the team that beat you in the first round last season. I hesitate to say they're not the same team they were a season ago, because I think we said that same thing last season. But in terms of personnel, they've had some big losses in the offseason. But still, 7 versus 8 play. Those 2 teams. So the way the play-in tournament works, 7 plays 8. The winner is the 7th seed. So the winner would play the 2 seed. And right now, the Sixers and the Pacers are 7 and 8. I don't see a world where the Chicago Bulls move into that 7-8 conversation. The Atlanta Hawks aren't doing it either. So what we're going to see when you look at the loss column, the 7 and 8 seed is wide open. Really, 4 through 8 is open right now with the Knicks, the Magic, the Heat, the Sixers, and the Pacers. The point I'm trying to make is there is no really clear, easy draw for the Bucks. I think if you pointed to a team, everybody would like to play the Orlando Magic, given their inexperience and lack of shooting. They do present defensive challenges. How are they going to score in the half court is what you would point to. But how are you going to get the Orlando Magic when we have as many teams as we currently have, 5 right now, that are separated by 3 games in the loss column and could finish anywhere from 4th to 8th in the conference? 855-616-1620, the number to join us this afternoon on Bucks Shootaround as we get set for matinee basketball. The Bucks in Los Angeles to take on the Clippers and look for a season sweep against those Clippers. Some updates to the injury reports for both teams. We'll bring you up to speed on what to expect in this matchup coming up after this on Bucks Shootaround.
Come see Thanalysis live from Potawatomi Casino Hotel on Friday, March 22nd.
Hey, welcome to another Thanalysis show. And we do well coming up in today's podcast.
Be there for the first ever live show for Thanasis as he's joined by his brother, none other than the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I took off my shoes and I was like, go crazy, go hoop. That's all it was.
Tickets are on sale soon at TALiveshow.com. Thanalysis live at Potawatomi Casino Hotel on March 22nd. TALiveshow.com.
St. Vincent de Paul, Milwaukee has expanded into our new 76th and Bradley Road location, where thrifters will find hundreds of bargains on everything, from clothing to furniture, electronics, home goods, and more. Our inventory is always changing, and new deals pop up every day. We're accepting donations too at our convenient drive-through donation area. Help us help others. St. Vincent de Paul at 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee is now open.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
I'm excited to be joined by my friend Jill Kreider. She is the president of Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Tell me kind of about the mission of Azura.
Our mission is to transform the culture of care, have a secure place, live a quality of life that maybe they don't have currently.
When I'm at an Azura facility, it feels like home.
Having team members that really care about people is number one.
Thank you for what you do for our community. Thank you for what you do for the people that live in the community.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Now, more of Buck Shootaround on WTMJ.
Game number 3 on this West Coast road trip for the Bucks. Hopefully third time is the charm in terms of games in California on this trip for the Bucks. Manhandled by the Warriors on Wednesday night as they watched that 6-game win streak come to an end. And then a loss to the Lakers in a rare for the Bucks clutch loss. Los Angeles Lakers, though, as we pointed out during the broadcast and on Bucks Talk, Lakers have been the best team in the clutch in the league this season. D'Angelo Russell with the game, arguably of his life, taking over down the stretch. And, you know, it's one of the things that is going to come up again with the game today against the Clippers. But we talked about this the last time these two teams played. When you looked at the injury report for the Bucks and you saw all the firepower they were down. It was Damian Lillard, and that was it. No Giannis. I shouldn't say that was it. Brook Lopez played. Malik Beasley played. But you didn't have Giannis. You didn't have Chris Middleton. And Ty Lue told us before the game, during coach's availability, look, it is a concern when asked, how do you make sure you have your team ready, prepared? Not to say that your team is going to walk through this, but you know, in any walk of life, there is a mental edge that can come off when you look across at whatever it is you're doing and see, oh, I'm not getting the best of the best in this. We're not going to see Giannis. Okay, we can let our foot off the gas a little bit. And Ty Lue was asked, how do you avoid that? And said, it is a concern. We have to remain focused. Same is going to apply for the Bucks today, and you can make a case. Look, the same applied on Friday when the Bucks played the Lakers without LeBron James. Anthony Davis towards the end was clearly not 100%. It appeared he suffered some type of shoulder issue on that collision he took with Giannis. But you saw arguably the greatest player in the history of our game isn't going to play. Okay, we got this. I'm not saying that's what the Bucks did, but there is a tendency to see those things. And I bring all of this up because, number one, you played a shorthanded Lakers team on Friday night. And we should point out as well, by the numbers, the Lakers have been very good in those games LeBron James has missed. 7-6 is their record. But in terms of their net rating and offensive rating especially, they have been incredibly efficient when they've gone to small ball lineups. That's what they did on Friday night. But it's going to be the same conversation this afternoon because it's yet another game where the Bucks are playing without Chris Middleton. And Doc Rivers did indicate he's close. We heard that before the game against the Lakers on Friday. He's close. And even Doc pointed out, look, I know I've said that a lot. What does close mean? I don't know. I know we've mentioned quite a bit. He's close, but trust me, he's close. We've heard Doc Rivers go as far as say, if this was a playoff game, he would be playing in the past. And again, the message that continues to be driven home is what matters, as we said at the top of the show, is the playoffs, how this team responds in the playoffs, how ready and prepared we are for the playoffs, and most importantly, having Chris Middleton available in the playoffs. So I think that is going to add to how cautious the Bucks are with Chris Middleton. But before that game against the Lakers, Doc Rivers did say, you know, there is a chance. I'm not going to say a good chance. I'm not going to put any percentage on it, but asked about seeing Chris Middleton on this trip. He did not rule it out and said, yes, there is a chance you could see him on Tuesday against the Sacramento Kings. So we'll wait and see there. Giannis is listed as probable. He is expected to play. Chris Livingston, the only other player out for the Bucks on G League assignment with the Wisconsin Herd. And by the way, don't have much time for it on this show, but Chris Livingston remains a very, very interesting prospect for the Bucks moving forward with, obviously, his defensive ability, his body size. We saw that in one game earlier this season. But what he's doing with the Wisconsin Herd in the G League is also starting to turn some heads. So we'll see if we can find some time to discuss what Chris Livingston has been doing with the Herd sometime this season. But Chris Livingston out as well for the Bucks. For the Clippers, Russell Westbrook is out with a hand fracture. He's likely out for close to all, if not all, of the regular season. James Harden is available. He was on the injury report with a shoulder strain, but Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are both out. So another shorthanded opponent that the Bucks will be drawing today. And again, it's March. It's early March. I don't think anything is must-win at this point. If anything, it increases the urgency, is how I would word it, when you look at a 2-game losing streak on this trip. 4 games, 2 games remain. You lost the first 2, and now you're playing an opponent that is not just down 1 of their stars, down 2 of their stars. It should increase that urgency for the Bucks. We'll take a closer look at the matchup, get you set for tip-off coming up after this on Buck Shootaround.
I'm Tom Hignite. For 31 years, you've known me as Miracle Homes. 9 years ago, following a life-changing experience of being with my father as he suddenly went into an assisted living care home, and 1 and 3 care homes later, he died in an assisted care home. What I saw in these homes brought me and my wife Jackie to find a better way to reinvent, build, and operate 7 4-bedroom assisted care homes of our own for any age of disabled, physically and mentally challenged people. The homes that you or your loved ones might live in offer round-the-clock cares from simple to complex to hospice end-of-life cares. This is best cares as we have a care ratio of 1 to 2 caregivers to every 4 residents. Private rooms, all meals, private pay, or Medicare. In Northwest Milwaukee, near Menominee Falls, or in the Richfield area, call Jackie now at 628-9091. That's 262-628-9091. We are the Miracle Christian-based companies.
If you need a place for new home interior ideas, then you have to come talk to us. Our on-staff decorators know furniture, home decor, and a lot more. And they're not only creative, but also very willing to help you make great choices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating taste come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee. Stop in often because our inventory changes daily.
Design Exchange.
Previously, it has been gently loved, but here you'll only find very well-conditioned premium home decor items that you likely won't find elsewhere. Distinctive furniture, unique antiques, and original art, and other tasteful home decor at a value. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating taste come to find premium home decor on consignment at 25 to 40% off retail prices in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
I know it's hard to believe that someone who charges almost 40% less than another can actually do the same job just as well, and maybe even better. But when it comes to our agents, when you give us a chance, you'll see we're pretty good. We know the market and our expertise is second to none. We just charge less. Why pay 6% when a Benefit Realty agent can help you sell your home just as effectively for 3.9%? This is Angela Calais with Benefit Realty, where you pay less for full service. Benefit-realty.com. Well, when we're letting you know that we're here, we're good, and we work for far less than most real estate agents, while still doing a great job for home buyers and sellers all across southeastern Wisconsin. You can believe what we say, or you can base the truth on what others say, like when you read our multitude of 5-star Google reviews, or when we can talk to you about our growth. The numbers don't lie, and they prove that more and more people are finding out the real value that Benefit Realty delivers. Why pay more when you can pay far less for full service? Benefit-realty.com.
You're listening to Buck's Shootaround on WTMJ.
All right, Bucks getting set to take on the Clippers in Los Angeles. It is the third of 4 games on this West Coast California road trip. So today in Los Angeles, Clippers played yesterday, by the way. That is why you are seeing both Paul George and Kawhi Leonard ruled out of today's game. Those two and James Harden were both on the injury report as questionable because for the second time in a week, this is game 2 of a back-to-back for the Clippers in a matchup with the Bucks. So that's another area to circle and take advantage of, hopefully, if you are the Bucks. If we go back to the first matchup between these two teams, took place Monday night in Milwaukee. Again, you didn't have Giannis. You still don't have Chris Middleton. Damian Lillard took over. 12 of 22 from the floor, 41 points. He was huge down the stretch. Got to the free throw line quite a bit as well with 13 free throw attempts. That is one of the parts of this Clippers defense. We talked about this, Dave Kane and I did, before the game on Monday. The Clippers defense is almost deceiving at times because they have the pieces to be very, very good. They are not bad, right? But by the numbers, they're just okay. And when you look at a defense with Kawhi Leonard, who, by the way, has looked much closer to peak Kawhi Leonard this year than we've seen in any year since 2019 when he helped guide the Toronto Raptors to an NBA championship. You have Paul George, who is available to defend multiple positions on the perimeter, and to a lesser extent some forwards as well. It's a very gifted defense. Terrence Mann as well. So at times, some of the ratings can be a bit perplexing. They don't force a lot of turnovers, but they do get a lot of steals. A lot of that is Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, but they don't foul. They don't put you at the free throw line. Bucks were able to do that, to get to the line quite a bit in that first matchup on Monday. And you're going to have to lean on that once more, especially with Giannis in this game. You figure that will be an area that you can attack the Clippers. But you got to keep an eye out on some of those secondary scores. Daniel Tice has a knack for hitting shots against the Bucks. Norm Powell, throughout his career, has been a Bucks killer, and he is certainly a player that could start on a lot of teams. He is going to be asked to carry a lot of that offensive load for the Clippers. Even Bones Highland, who we saw in stretches in the first matchup as well. So it does not mean this is a guaranteed win just because those two big pieces are out. Tip-off comes your way momentarily here. Pre-game begins in just a few moments. And as always, be sure to stick around after the game this afternoon for Bucks Talk. We will talk to you then.
With the Pick and Save app, shopping online with pickup and delivery is the same as shopping in-store. Same low prices, same personalized deals, same rewards on the same high-quality items like Honeycrisp apples and